Freezenet lives. Hi, Drew Wilson here, and welcome to another installment of Drew's Corner. Now, in the last couple of installments, I've been talking about me hoping that my site survives the Canadian news links apocalypse. This, of course, relates to the Online News Act and Meta, that sort of thing. And Meta made do with their warnings and began blocking news links. And to give you an idea of what that looks like in Canada, I have a few news websites that I can show you. So here is CBC News, and yep, that is completely gone. Nothing here, no posts, nothing. And then the same thing goes with, global news. That's all gone. And here's the National Post, all gone. And yeah, you name it, every Canadian news website is basically completely gone. And one thing that some people might not realize is that this also affects international media. So here is the New York Times, all posts are gone. CNN, completely vanished. Fox News, deleted for the most part. And the BBC here, and that is completely gone. So yeah, it's all completely vanished because of the Online News Act. And so what I was going to do was in September, which is of course this month, I was going to look back at my Facebook page of Freezenet and see if it survives. And hey, it's all there. Everything is still there. It's a little dated, sure. I have a bit of a faulty plugin, admittedly, but it is all there still. So, there's a couple of reasons why people think why my website survived, and the prominent reason seems to be that it essentially is too small. It flew under the radar and no big deal, and they didn't really realize I was a news website. And it's a very people when they think that, it's actually quite reasonable, because yeah, it's not the world's largest news site, I can admit that, but I think I have a better explanation as to what is going on. And this all goes back to the Meta announcement. So as you can see here, this was dated all the way back to August 1st. And in the announcement, Meta said that news links and content posted by news publishers and broadcasters in Canada will no longer be viewable by people in Canada. We are identifying news outlets based on legislative definitions and guidance from the Online News Act. And so, generally speaking, I like to refer to this as basically using the Online News Act as a sort of shopping list for Meta. So they look at websites that are qualified under this legislation and say, okay, this is how it's qualified, this is how it's qualified, okay, it's gone. It's not qualified for this reason, therefore it's okay. And we can look at the actual legislation. And generally speaking, and there may be other sections they also use too, but for me, I think the biggest one is section 27. And in trying to figure out why I was left alone, I would go to this section and figure out, okay, reasons why, because essentially you don't want to be eligible under this, because if you are eligible, then you are blocked. So one section, this is something I kind of went over when I was analyzing this in the first place a few installments ago, but I'll just do a quick overview here. So looking at section 27(1)(bi), you can see that it says regularly employs 2 or more journalists in Canada. Second section doesn't really matter that much to me, but the third section, section III, produces content that is not primarily focused on a particular topic. So yeah, that would definitely disqualify me right there. And of course, the final section, which talks about is part of a recognized journalistic association, follows a code of ethics. And of course, I don't necessarily have that. So the question then becomes, how do I narrow this down? Is there a way I can figure out what specifically allowed me to survive when pretty much every other news organization is getting carpet bombed with the news link blocking? And a good way to find out is through looking at websites that weren't affected by this other than me. And yes, there was in fact news websites that weren't necessarily affected by this. So for instance, we have Ars Technica, and that is everything is there, everything is nicely presented, nothing really going wrong here. Then we look at something like Kotaku, and yeah, everything is still there. We're still live. And let's check out Polygon. Yep, still there, no big deal. And even when I look at a Canadian tech news website, let's try Mobile Syrup. Yep, everything is there, none the worse for wear, that sort of thing. We are good to go. So yeah, I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, what is going on? Why are these websites still up? Was it a mistake? Was it something overlooked? Well, as a matter of fact, we can go back to the legislation. And looking at this, we can actually, armed with that knowledge, we can actually narrow it down further. So the whole section of regularly employs 2 or more journalists in Canada, I believe Mobile Syrup would be eligible under this section. So I think we can actually eliminate this section. And going to the last section, is a part of a recognized journalistic association, follows a code of ethics. I think a number of those websites do follow that. So what does that leave us? That leaves us news content that is not primarily focused on a particular topic. And every single website, including mine that hasn't been affected, I would argue falls under this. So we are not qualified because we do focus on a particular topic. So for instance, is it technology? Is it about entertainment? Is it about science? And that is a particular topic. So I would say that, yeah, that's probably what did it for me as well as a number of other websites, because they all focused on a particular topic. And just to kind of further go into why I think it's that, think about it from the perspective of Facebook. You are a large platform. Yes, you can hire lots and lots of people, that sort of thing. But you're trying to, say, look at thousands upon thousands of news website pages and determine whether or not they are eligible or not. And how do you do that quickly? Well, obviously you're not going to see whether or not they employ 2 or more journalists. Like, that would take a little bit of effort and trying to dig through different people's profiles and just to tick a box. And trying to scrape through the website to find, like, is it part of, like, a recognized journalistic organization? Is it, do they have a code of ethics somewhere floating around the website? And that would actually take time. And it's not necessarily laziness, it's just numbers, because you're multiplying that work by 1,000, maybe a couple thousand web pages. But that leaves news content that is not primarily focused on a particular topic, and that would be significantly easier to determine whether or not you are eligible or not. So is it a tech website? Okay, green light, you're okay. We're leaving you alone. Are you a major outlet that is not primarily not primarily focused on a particular topic? Okay, you're a general news website. You're covering politics, that sort of thing. So yeah, deleted. So yeah, I think that is a really good measuring stick for Facebook as far as I'm concerned. And to me, that is probably why I managed to survive. It is the cleanest explanation I can come up with. And am I completely right? Is there other factors involved? There could be. I'm not denying that. But I think that is the most logical explanation out of everything I can think of as to why I survived and so many others did not. But either way, regardless of the reasoning, I am definitely relieved. I mean, it is definitely the scariest thing to watch, like seeing all these news websites get nuked all the time and having just about everything blocked, and you're somehow surviving and thinking, am I next? Am I next? Am I next? That is not a pleasant thing. And yeah, it's one thing to have like a legal theory and think, yeah, you probably will survive, or probably are right on something in a legal sense. But the thing is, you'd rather not bank your entire 18 plus career on that. That is scary, and the stakes, as far as I'm concerned, are way too high at that point. So I personally would rather never have to put up with this kind of stress ever again. So I guess right now I will be continuing on with just doing what I'm doing, plugging away, covering the news, and doing the best I can do with what little I have. And honestly, I think that was the way to go from the beginning in all this, because yeah, if my website gets nuked, okay, then I have to do the fallback plans, which I kind of discussed in a past video about, what do I do in that scenario? But other than that, just continuing on doing what you're doing, and that seem to be the way to go. And I'm actually very grateful I did that, because now I can just continue on with even less stress. And another thing to kind of note is that, yeah, Google has yet to follow. They're going to do their own thing, and who knows, maybe Facebook determined that I am not eligible, but maybe Google does. I don't know. But it's a positive sign at the very least, so I'll keep an eye out on things and see how things go from there. And so, yeah, I guess that's all for now. And I just wanted to let you know that if you want to support this channel, there are plenty of ways you can do that. You can drop us a like, let us know how you're doing a great job, keep up the good work. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on notifications, get that real-time updates on what videos we posted. And if you have a lot of notifications or notifications aren't working for whatever reason, that's okay. You don't have to do the notifications, but a subscription will certainly help out this channel a lot. And another way you can support this channel is check out our website. And it's a free and open website, freezenet.ca. You can check all the latest news, music reviews, video game reviews, and we even have a full-fledged wiki, so you can explore music without opinion. So yeah, it's a great way to find out new music that maybe even I haven't even touched on. So yeah, lots of cool features there. If you want to more directly support the channel, you can also subscribe to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Freezenet. And you can get insider information. You can get early access to our podcasts. You can also get early access to some of our reviews, because yeah, we date these things well in advance. But if you want to have some access to that early on, that's the way to go. And if you subscribe to a high enough tier, you can even choose which review for the month you can actually have early access to. So really cool features to take advantage of. But if subscriptions aren't your thing, you don't want to do that kind of commitment, don't worry, we have another way you can support us. Is through our Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/freezenet. Drop us a one-time donation, and we'll make sure every dollar does count. It goes towards the website, it goes towards this YouTube channel, and it goes towards our podcast. So I guess that is all for now, and until next time, keep it cool.